Hi, my name is Gregor Čepek. I'm the founder of eAvio, and in this video I would like to show you briefly how eAvio package for aero clubs, schools and panoramic tour operators looks like, so you get a basic idea what you can find here and how the things are organized. On the left side we see a screen that it's supposed to be on the phone, so this is what pilots see on their phone when they log in. And on the right side, we have a dashboard for managers, for maybe instructors and presidents and so on. So on the mobile side for the pilots, after login, they see how much money they have in their club's account. There are multiple ways how the system operates. One way is prepaid, can be paid after flight, can be paid annually, like in quartals and so on. This can all be set up however you like it. Then you see the NOTAMs or news. If there is any NOTAM that you already saw, it's hidden like this one. Whenever there is a new NOTAM, you get a notification which you have to confirm if you want to mark it as read. So the club can be sure that everybody read that notes or news. Then we divided activity in the club into multiple sections. This is to simplify the data entry. Maybe for pilots who are using single piston planes, they don't need forms for towing like gliders use, and for skydivers where they have loads and stuff like that. So we divided everything into multiple sections. In this demo we have 4 of them. There could also be one for the helicopters and for the drones. But this is just part of the discussion if you decide to use that. Then you have a club's wallet account where you can refill money to your club's account. You can do that via bank transfer. This is manual process that somebody has to confirm that transaction was successful. There is also a way to do that with the Stripe. If the Stripe is used, then obviously transaction is confirmed almost immediately. Through this page, pilots can pay for memberships as well. And there is some glitch at the moment, but you get an idea. So for membership or any other type of money collection you would need, you can put it here. Sometimes it's really nice to sell some packages like for training package or multiple starts, or maybe like a package with 100 flight hours with discounted price. So everything like that could be sold here. Whenever a user pays for anything, the recipient or invoice is automatically generated. So this will simplify your accountant work pretty significantly. Well, the next thing here it's actually a library. You can put a lot of different documents inside this library. The folders can be divided into not divided, actually can be specified that only specific users see them. Maybe only instructor, maybe only those from who are using single piston airplanes, or those who are flying gliders. So this is pretty convenient to share any type of documentation. Then overview of all the users. This is obviously demo account where there are just few users inside. By the way, anybody can access this account. If you just visit eavio.aero website and click to the button request demo, you will immediately get login accounts for this demo platform with all these users, and you can play around with that. So yeah, here you also see in which section specific user is active. And again, we have pretty good GDPR protection. So here only users who accepted that they want to share the information are visible. Exams, many times you need to do some exam to prolong your license. For example, knowledge about the airplane, knowledge about the airfield. And this is the place where you can actually complete these exams. These exams can be like ABC, or you can also add images. There's option to write arbitrary answers, and these answers are then actually checked with ChatGPT in the background, so it simplifies your grading significantly. Basically, when you complete the exam, the system will automatically say if it's okay or not, so you don't need to do much afterwards. So imagine at the end of the year when you're doing these annual exams, or at the beginning, I don't know how you do it. It's you just each pilot will get notification that their exam is overdue, and they will be able to do it by themselves without you organizing, printing, and grading all those hundreds of pages of paper. Then usually clubs have some training program, or if your organization is just a school, then this is very relevant to you. This view is like an idea how it looks like for an instructor. Instructors see who are his students, and for each student you can see which lessons they are doing, all the lessons that they need to complete. Each lesson has a nice description with possibility to add video or some small exam as well. Exam is good way to know if student actually prepared for training. All this content can be changed by you or added by you. We added some initial let's say trainings for PPL, but anything else you can add yourself, and made it so that it will be convenient for your students. When obviously when the flight is over, the instructor needs to add a training record. This is done from this interface. Just select which flight log, what exercise you were doing, grade it with just swiping. Grade, any type of grading can be used, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or S, D, and so on, like here, or you can add your own grades. So system adapts to your existing grading system. So if we go back to the home page again, maybe just here, and we go into one section, what you can see here is who is today's flight chief, who is today's flight keeper. Well, each organization, they can have their own people who are needed for flying. In this example, there are 2 of them, but they can either be one of those, or they can be more, or they can be, maybe you can even say that you don't need anyone. So this is to be set up in the back end here. The good thing here is that there are 2 ways to basically assign who will be, for example, flight chief. One way of doing it is just simply when the flight chief arrives to the airport, he clicks to the banner, and from now on he is flight chief. The other option is that you have a calendar available here, and on this calendar you can actually assign, each pilot can assign when they want to be flight chief, timekeeper, whatever. You can put whatever you want here. So the next thing you see here is quick weather broadcast for your airport. We are located here in Slovenia. That's why we have this airport in the system. You have a list of all the planes that you can fly. For each pilot, you can the manager can assign so planes that he's allowed to fly. This is really great to avoid some kind of confusion and some wrong reservations. This is also very good if you have some planes that are privately owned and can be only used by few users. On this list, there is a nice indication if the plane is not airworthy. Quite easy to see. So okay, let's also assign timekeeper. So since we have flight chief and timekeeper that are required for flights in this example, we can go and try to do some kind of reservation. You can do reservations from two sides. One is just tapping the plane that you want to fly, or you can go into the calendar and use this drag and drop or drag and pull approach. You either choose reservation or flight order. The idea is that reservation you can do a few days in advance, and the flight order you submit just before flying. Flight order is indication that everything is fine, that your licenses are all valid, and that medicals are valid and everything is fine for your flight. So it's kind of confirmation. In the other hand, reservation can be due even if not all the things are valid yet, because maybe at the time of flying this will be fine already. So I will do reservation at the moment. It's good, you always see the state of the plane. In this example, you see that the next service for this plane is after 30 hours, so more than enough time for some more flying. Okay, so reservation is set, I can go back, and then the system guides me through what I need to do next. The first thing is, of course, reservation. The second thing, the first thing before flying is flight order. I set reservation for after 15 minutes. That's why this is already yellow. This is indicating, yeah, I have to submit flight order, otherwise this reservation will be overdue. So let's do that. In the flight order, I have to be a little bit more specific with the flight purpose. Again, here all the flight purposes are set to be set arbitrary, so you can put in any kind of flight purposes you wish. And then the last step, of course, is to go flying. And there are multiple ways how to enter a flight log in the end. One way is just manually writing in start and stop. Another way is via trackers. If you have any kind of trackers in the system, in the planes, we can connect it to the system, and then whenever you land, the tracker will send the information about the flight, and you will have this flight log pre-filled with those times and locations. And the third option that we just implemented is this play button, and when you press start, the system already starts counting everything for the flying, and when you are done, you press it again, and you have already location, the nearest airport selected, and also the timing. I have to change time a little bit so that this will make sense. The really cool thing about this is that pilots get immediately feedback how much this flight will cost or costed. This is really good to avoid some conflicts, because people are allergic usually to wrong pricing if they occur. So this is very, very handy. In one flight log, you can add multiple landings or legs, however you call it. All those strings like legs and submit flight logs and stuff like that can be adjusted individually here under this translation module. So even if we don't have some text that are, let's say if you in your club or school, if you're using some other wording for things, you can change it here, so your pilots will understand and recognize them immediately. So when I submit flight log, all the cards are fine, everything is ready. The manager can already see this flight log in the system. Then there is as soon there is some kind of flying, you get this view for the pilot's book. So in the end of the day, it's way easier to just write from here to your book. In this top section, there are those your flight logs. This is mobile version of it, and this overview is actually group overview. Is actually connected to gliders because in this demo configuration, this organization is also very strong with the gliders, and yeah, gliders are usually they have a timekeeper who can then enter flight logs for all the gliders and in one interface. So that's why this is here. On the side, you see a small plane. This is actually to track landings on the airport. If you have your own airport and you have to track who landed, this is a quick way to access that. Anybody who is, let's say, who has permission to or role to track landing planes, like foreign or guests planes, they can enter that here, and in the end of the week and month, you have reports for all the landings, and they are also visible in the system. I showed you example for the power section. For the gliders is very, very similar. The only difference here is that you have this group overview where the timekeeper will see all the flight logs for this specific day, and all the flight plans for this specific day, and they can just watch the line of the gliders, and as soon as he see one take off, he just click play, select what is the towing, what kind of towing it is used, either towing aircraft or winch or whatever, and it actually can really nicely manage all the flight logs for all the gliders activities here. Okay. Oh well, this is running for quite a long time. Of course, each pilot can submit these flight logs for themselves as well. So either timekeeper edit or pilot itself. If you have a towing pilot for a glider, whenever you add a flight log for one specific glider, the flight log for a towing plane is created automatically. So you only need to have one flight log and everything is set up. Ultralight section, very, very similar to power section. It's actually identical. It's just the different naming. And for the skydivers, again, very, very similar. Instead of the planes, you have parachutes, and when submitting flight logs, you actually have to select the load and stuff like that. Okay, we almost went through all the front end for the pilots. The only thing left are these small icons here. One is all the news collected. The second one is common phone numbers. You can put any type of phone number here for the gatekeeper or, I don't know, a manager. And this is log out, obviously. When you go to the profile, here are quite a lot of different things you can see. The basic data, the planes that you are allowed to fly. If there is a huge list and you only fly 2 or 3 of them, you can basically deselect all that you don't want to use, and they won't be displayed. And the credentials, this is actually place where all the licenses, medicals, and everything will be collected. This demo user doesn't have any, but in a real user would have quite a lot of licenses here, probably for PPL and at least for PPL and for some kind of medical. But you can put any kind of documentation in here. That's why we renamed that from licenses to credentials. So basically any kind of documents like proving some kind of validity can be stored here. And you can either upload these documents for the user, or you can allow them to upload a new version of documents whenever they got them directly into this interface, and the manager will be notified about that and can, of course, then review and approve it. When editing a profile, quite a lot of informations about this specific user. One really nice thing is that each user can have its own language. We have this in the system at the moment. All the mechanism behind these translations is really well done. So to add a new language is not a big deal. We actually put it through some kind of Google Translator or AI translator, and the end result is pretty good out of the box. And then you can adjust or correct some mistakes if there are any. One thing I want to show you here on the back, on the front end as well, is if I log out, I see you have a button, register as a guest. This is meant for any guest pilots that visit your club. They are not members of the club, but you still want them to have them in the system to better track their stay at your place, or flight logs, flight plans, and basically activity connected to them. So this is really, really handy. Whenever some guest pilot register, he needs to put in all the information about himself, upload the licenses and stuff, and also agree to your terms and conditions that you upload yourself. Okay, this is for the front end. And then let's go briefly through the back end. I will make this a little bit bigger because it will be easier to see. So I will just go through all the items in the menu that are relevant. As I said, whenever there is some kind of transaction created, this is then available in this transaction module for accountant or manager to oversee, to overview. They all have a status. For example, if you're waiting for deposit, you have to confirm that the deposit was received, or if it was striped, it would be closed automatically. Then for each transaction, you have a price list available. The price, I'm sorry, not the price list, invoice. Each invoice can be downloaded in the PDF format. Let's try to open one. It looks like that, although here on the top, obviously, there will be your head and footer, not from eAvio. Well, in this demo, you can see eAvio logos everywhere, but each club has its own branded version then. So here you would see your logo. And the third thing are price lists. Price lists are usually quite a headache for administrators, because there are many different rules who has what kind of pricing. We really wanted to simplify that. This is like third edition of the price list module. We created like 3 times the module from ground up to actually get the version where any client can do any kind of price lists. So let's just quickly go through. The title is just for you to know what it is all about. Then from when this is valid, you can say this price list is only valid for those who paid membership, or maybe who paid some kind of contribution, or are supporting a club in that or other way. You can say that this price list is valid if they are member and they pay the contribution. So a lot of different options. You can say that this price list is valid just for specific user. This is very handy when you have somebody who owns a plane and you wanted for them to have a special pricing, which would make sense. And with this, you can add it. Fixed costs are the costs that are always apply no matter how long you're flying. For each cost, you define the taxes, the tax values. These values are just for a demo. You put your own country taxes inside. For which kind of section this price list is created for. Each have their own field. For example, if you go to glider, you see we have some towing costs and stuff like that. But for the power section, there is very basic. You select for which kind of plane this is valid, and then you say mostly for all the flight purposes, the hour rate is 200 euros. If the pilot is flying with the instructor, then instructor will get 20 euros from that. And then you just add exception. All flight purposes are 200 except training, that will be 250. So even although you have a lot of different flight purposes in the system, you only set up these two things and the system will know to calculate all the pricing. Discounts are really handy. Sometimes you can say after so many hours of flying, you get so much discount. And that's more or less it regarding pricing. With these price lists, you can create any type of price list for all the different sections. Club management. The most important part here is this user table. All the users from your section are listed. With if there is anything wrong with the licenses or whatever, you will see a red mark here. This is quite a quick indication something is wrong. If we go in, basic information, this is cool. If you don't allow this pilot to fly because he created something bad in the back, you can just write some kind of notice, and as soon as you write this notice, he won't be able to submit flight order and fly. You can see a lot of information, also which planes he can fly. And this system is pretty nice because all the modules are interconnected, and this is really handy for you when you're searching for some kind of information. So as soon as I opened this user details, I see all the credentials connected to him, all the club's activity in which section, all allowed aircraft, what packages he paid for, what all the flight logs he submitted, flight orders, all the reservations, all the transactions. Well, everything is actually collected here. So this is really handy. I can search users through the search like that. This is really cool. As soon as I write some kind of name, you can find them in all the different modules where this name appears. Posts are news posts that you publish here. Coordinators are it's actually a table when somebody is timekeeper, when somebody is flight chief. This is in the way of the table, but we have here a nice calendar where the same thing is displayed in the form of the calendar. Price list groups are all these different packages that you can either sell or just hide it behind for management to see. It's cool because sometimes you want to publish some packages, so you just create sellable, and if I do that, this is visible then in the wallet. The club's decision is many times you have some kind of meeting and you decide, I don't know, to buy a new plane or renew one or something like that. And in that club's decision, you put in which session what you decided, how many were in favor or against. So this is then really, really handy for all the members to see. Community works in many clubs. You have to do some kind of free work to support a club. We call that community work. And sometimes you want to say that it's obligatory to do at least, I don't know, 5 hours per year or 20. And if you don't complete that, then you have to pay some penalty for not completing. So this is just an example here for all these users, how many hours they already did. Whenever you do some kind of community work, it needs to be logged in. But if your users or your pilot is actually flight chief for a specific day, this flight chief activity can be automatically added to the community work activities. NOTAMs very similar to the posts. User activities. This is nice. You see for all the users in which sections they're active and how much money they have inside. Credentials. I mentioned before that credentials can basically be licenses and stuff like that. So you see there are a lot of different licenses in the system, but you can add any combination you like. And the ratings is also tightly connected to that. Quick overview of all the users and all their licenses. You can filter out a lot of things and search for any individual user if you want. The fleet, all the planes, list of all the planes, you see when the next service is. I like to sort it so that I see the ones that have a service soon. Let's see. If it's red, then it's overdue. If it's getting near, it's orange, and yeah, if everything is fine, it's black. So from this list, you can track when the next maintenance is required, and you can also put the plane into the not airworthy mode or edit pictures, names, and a lot of different things for specific airplane. Aircraft resources is it's usually accessed from here. Let's see, find a plane like that, and then I see all the plane's resources. This is in Slovene, but you put your own naming in, and then you can track each resource. Whenever you do some kind of service, you do this maintenance log, so all the values are updated. I think you got the idea. The aircraft type, you put all the different models in. Flight control, list of all the flight logs submitted. Usually when the flight log is submitted, it's not automatically completed, but some manager or somebody needs to check at the end of the day if everything is fine, and only then review it and complete it. We can also create it so that it's automatically completed after a day or two, if you're up to that. Interesting thing here is that if you decide to give some pilot discount, you can, or some other pricing, you can basically override the price lists with some kind of exception. And if you do that, this flight log won't cost 240 euros in this case, but 100. So really, really handy. Either override it or add some additional costs like fuel or whatever. Flight orders is the similar thing for the list of all the flight orders submitted. Oh, by the way, for the flight logs, I forgot to say one interesting thing is sometimes you want sometimes you want somebody else to pay for a flight. Maybe two friends are flying and the one is next to him wants to pay. So you have option like that here as well. Instructor availability is if you have some instructors that are working in the club and are available just at specific timing. This is where you set these things. And you can say, yeah, this instructor is available each Monday from 8 to 12. Yeah, only at this time you can make a reservation for training with that specific pilot. Here, whenever some instructor is booked, would appear here. Similar to flight logs list and flight orders list, there is also plane reservation list, all the flight logs combined. Reservation combined. Guests, lists of all the users that are registered as a guest. This is also cool. List of all the landings on the airport. This is where you track some guest stays. So you choose the guest and then write the reason why he's staying, add the costs, and system will also add costs for his flying, and at the end of the stay you just issue an invoice with everything combined. This to request is also a very interesting feature. It actually allows those who are doing panoramic tours to offer some kind of packages on their website. And if we take a look, we have a nice demo. You see the same packages that are available here, that are described here, are then visible to your website. If you have a WordPress website, this is actually a plugin, and your visitors can then choose what kind of flight they would like, which date, they put in all the credentials, how many passengers, and you will get a request into the system where you can organize the pilot and the plane and everything, all the communication needed. Library, this is where you upload your documents that are visible then on the front end. Here in order there is a lot of different small settings that are used here and there. Testing, these are these exams where you set up any kind of exam. You say that this exam is obligatory for specific type of license. Then how much scores you need to successfully pass it. And then you just add questions. So it's pretty simple to use. And then all the results. Okay, no exam was completed at the moment, but here you would see the exams that users completed and what was the score. The training, all the training lessons describes the things I was showing you on the front end. It's actually managed here. You could add a video, documents, and also exam questions if you actually want to have some kind of exam at the end of the preparation. All here, a lot of different things connected to the training. So from here, you track, the instructor can track an overview of any kind of training. Custom emailer, you say you want to send, for example, to all the glider students email. This is how you do it. Write a message and add attachment or something like that, and there you have it. Reporting, it's used for it used to be accessed by all the pilots. The manager can see all the pilots while specific like regular guests, they not guests, members see just themselves. So here I have an overview of all the flights with number of landings and everything needed. So this is full list of all the flights, and then you also have divided by aircraft, by flight purpose, by a lot of different things. So pretty handy tool. The transactions, similar to the flight logs, you see all the club's income for different months and different sections. Well, you can have combined bank account that is used by all sections, or you can have divided account. In this example, there is divided account, so each section has its own a bank account, and it's counting money, but by its own. So maybe I do it that way. Hopefully this will load. And then all the transactions with the reasons why, what was happening, and so on. Planner is calendar where you can organize flying, either tour requests, either training, or just make a reservation. Similar to the one I was showing to the front end, you can do it here. So it's a little bit more convenient because it's more space. So click and drag, choose the pilot and the basic stuff. The good thing here is that you can also move it around. And for example, if you want that this will be training by some other instructor, you just move it like that. They all get notified about things like that. So very handy. Those black lines represent when some instructor is available. So if I would want to set availability for this specific instructor, the things I was talking before, each Monday from at these specific hours, and that's it. From now on, he's available at these times. Coordinator calendar, you want to plan when that you have all the personnel needed on the airfield, maybe over the weekend. You can give access to this calendar to any member, and they can assign themselves whenever they want to be in some kind of rule. And they will also be notified that, I don't know, the next day they are assigned to be, in this case, introduction pilots. Activity logs, we log all the activity in the system, so it will be difficult that somebody would say that they, I don't know, change something without knowing. Because of GDPR, we have to track whoever views some personal data. So this is all visible here in these activity logs. Translation, the things I was saying before, you can change any translations here. So for if the naming for your club would be better something else, no problem at all. You select and rename it, and from now on the system will be using a different naming for it. So that's basically all that it is at the moment in the system. The good place to check for any news is our website, where we publish change logs from time to time. There is one big new release coming now, and in 2025. This includes all the features that I was showing here. And that's it.